Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing well. Before I get started just chatting with you, I want to read you a part of an article that can be found on Charisma News YouTube at News. And I have part of this article that I got off of Facebook off of their, and they have a website, charismanews.com. But it's about pedophilia. And um, the psychiatric community and the building up of all this for thousands of years. This is just not 50 years or 100 years. The things that they want to do to you and I and our children have been planned for thousands of years. So let me just read you part of this article. Like I say, you could be aware of it like I have been. And just real quick for you newbies here, I contacted my my state representatives and wanted to have some issues about children being adopted in foster home and adoptions. Children actually sold out of our country when they're born with the social security number like you or I, and they're like bargained with stocks and bonds and everything else through this corporation of the United States. That fries me out, and I still have not got an answer from my government. It goes way deep, but anyway, uh let me read you part of this. Excuse me, not to be rude. I'll be right back. At charismanews.com, according to the American Family Association, a shocking announcement was made by the American Psychological Association, APA, in its latest edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders caused an uproar among the pro-family organizations and many others, as the APA states it now classifies pedophilia as sexual orientation or preferred or preference instead of a disorder. So it's either sexual orientation or preference. It's not a disorder to desire a child. Okay. Sandy Rios, cultural expert and talk show host on the American Family Radio Network, has issued a statement on behalf of the American Family Association in response to the APA's position on pedophilia. Just as the APA declared homosexuality and orientation under the tremendous pressure from homosexual activists in the mid-70s, now under the pressure from pedophilia activists, they have declared the desire for sex with children and orientation too. It's not hard to see where this will lead. More children will become sexual prey. Explains it all. I got to the heart of the matter in that article, and that's part of their agendas. That if you look up what Stalin was and Marxism and even some social groups, and then into communism, what that entails and how to control a society. This is all a part of it. It's just one thing leads right into the other. And that's what's going on with us. That's why it has nothing to do with anybody's belief in their creator or not a creator. Well, the ones that know there is a creator and does not and do not want to abide by his wishes as our creator, our father, those are the ones we're battling here. It's not anybody else. It's not what you do in private unless it's with a child. I see that stuff. Oh, hey, do believe I would risk my life for that child. So I hope people get that in straight when it comes to me. Yeah. I was passing around songs. Well, a song popped into my mind about musical conditioning when we're young, like that song Big Girls Don't Cry. No, women do though. you know, but and it does say that in the song, but it's just that um just the way the mother acted in the song, the whole thing. And it reminded me of two things. When my oldest son stopped crying because he was on pain overload, been there, and when my youngest one would cry too much, which was more in a narcissistic manner, but still in a needy way. Both my kids got really abused. So anyway, not anyway, fuckers will pay. Rhymed with that, didn't I? Well, anyway, or not. You get my point. So, yeah, we have a fight on our hands, people, and it's deep into the psychological community. Um, Everybody's being conditioned and used so they can use your children. And it won't matter what sex you're going to be seeing if we don't get a handle on this. Old men walking with little boys as their wives. We need to get a handle on this shit right now. That's why I can appreciate it over in Russia. I don't care who says what. Protecting the children's number one. And I was annihilated when I was a baby and brought back to the orphanage and sold again. Just try that on for size. They said I was born with a herniated umbilical cord. Well, my birth mother said I was born perfect. So what does that say? Within 2 weeks, what happened to me? And then I found out I wasn't supposed to have children. I had so much scar tissue in there from being abused. So if you don't know about them things and you don't think they're real, there's men that develop cancer of the colon and rectum because of different things, or women. These things are real, and the diseases that go along with it. And I am so sick of all the fucking nonsense and people trying to paint me as a hateful person. Well, if I see you with a baby, I'm not even going to talk about hate, and you aren't going to be talking either. That's not a threat, that's a fact. And every parent worth their salt, and even non-parents that just love people in general, aren't going to tolerate this shit. You need to be in prison. You hurt a baby, a child, a human being, period. You're criminal, period. If somebody's too small, and you can lower the voting age, that's not going to matter. There's people in history that were married off, like even 9 years old or even younger in some cultures. That doesn't make it right. If you can't stand up like I am and you're a little baby married to some ancient, if you can't get out here like I am right now, you're not old enough to get married or have children. That's a fact. That's called defending the innocent. Before they really have an adult mind to make permanent choices for their own self. So that's a big deal. And, you know, people can run around and, well, anyway, there's some that enjoy their sinful deeds on this planet, and those are the ones we're battling. And I'm not, and for that enemy, I won't be loving that enemy. It says love your enemies. Well, then that ain't nothing. That's not my enemy. I don't have an enemy. There's Satan and the meat suits that belong to his demonic creatures, and there's human beings. So I have a foe, I have an adversary in this flesh, but it's not a human. It might be in a human body, and I do recognize them when I see them. So I'm not playing at all, and I hope anybody that listens to me, I hope you feel the same way. I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about my children, your children, our grandchildren, and everybody else's. You just think of the tiniest, prettiest little baby you ever saw in your life, and then think about one of these creatures wanting to get the first touch on that tiny tot. And keep that in the forefront of your mind. Don't let it slip back, because this is what this control is all about. They get you and I out of the way, and they can have their way with the next generations to come even stronger. And you know they do anyway. And it's getting worse out there. It is not a joke. I know a lot of us have been praying for the reign of Christ to really rise up on this planet. Well, we got to make that happen. That's how we do that. You don't be quiet, I'm not going to be quiet. If I have a neighbor that's a little iffy about this, well, it's, this is defending the children. I'm not going out of my realm or going out into another country. I am personally, and I've done this in my community, I'm standing strong, and you're going to do what's right by children. No, it's not. It takes a village. You leave the parents with those souls. You keep your demonic freaking suggestions of all your ill repute shit away from them little people. I don't care who you are or where you are. And you're not hiding from God, you stupid slime, scum of the earth. And I'm not talking to normal people at all. I'm talking to demonic, masonically inclined wizards and witchcraft that have to hide in the dark because they can't stand up like a human. That's why. And that's the Father. Their Father is the creator of all lies to destroy human beings. The father of lies. So, yeah, I'm gonna just no, no. I was gonna click off. I can still see that on my screen. That's okay, I'll leave it. But it does really, around me, somebody might get hurt. There's times I wish I had known what was going on in some people's lives, but I know God was protecting me, because I would have literally chuck chunks of flesh out of people if I had seen the things that have happened to little people. So, and it's not an exaggeration. And I don't mean I would have any weapons either. And that's what adults feel like when little people are getting hurt. So I don't know who these animals think they are that would desire a child, but that's what it is. Uh, There's certain things like you learn through the decades, certain things, and if you're on the dark side of things, first off, you're not going to desire somebody that's immature, and second off, you're not going to look for a childlike being to have intercourse or even an emotional relationship with in any way. It just doesn't work like that. Not like that. Not on that sexual level. So they can try and name it whatever they want to name it, but I call uh naming it should be lethal injection. So maybe that's what God's doing is having people lethally inject themselves with bad food products or something, you know. It's like I've been craving these cheese balls from Walmart, but I don't know. And we've been going without sugar for a few days too, which feels better. So he asked me how I'm doing on that, and I said, pretty good. You know, like last night we had some salad and carrots and roast beef, so it was healthy. And yeah, pretty healthy, you know. But so I'm doing okay without the sugar, but I still like it. Yeah. Not as much as when I was a kid, and then I went a couple decades without it, pretty much. And then when I did have it through those decades, I'd kind of like freak out like really bad. Then I could relate to people that were like diabetic because spiking their blood sugar, you know, it's like woo, you know, coffee. So I was happy. I got a lot done today so far. Getting water in, and Doug's gonna go buy some more water. Yesterday, we had to oil the wheels on the winch, and I know he wasn't feeling good. He's been like, he was on this one medication that kind of messed him up. But I know it hurts to do physical stuff sometimes, you know. But anyway, I asked him if I give you an hour of my time, could we like get going on this? And he said he had to oil the wheels. I could help him oil the wheels on his cherry picker thing, and it's huge, you know. So, and then we blocked it up and got that done and got that ready. So, a little bit of progress, a little bit at a time. That's what I was figuring too, if I could just offer him some of my help and then kind of encourage him a little bit, you know. Because I know physical shit hurts and it gets old when you get old, but yeah, just don't quit because then you'll end up, it won't take long if you get injured or something. It could throw you off. If you can exercise even your arms if your legs are hurt, don't quit or you know, whatever it takes, you know. Even if getting up and cooking or cleaning yourself is all you can do, that's still, some people just feel sorry for themselves and just quit, you know? Like, no, even if you got to learn to cook with one arm or whatever, That's what you do. And then you keep busy and you're a fighter, you know. And if you stay mobile when or immobile when you're injured, that's really the worst thing you can do. Sometimes, I mean, for a little bit of healing, but when you feel like a little bit of energy outside that, and then take that opportunity to do something with it, because if you don't, you'll be sorry. That's what I'm trying to say. I believe, my personal opinion. When I see people that are 40 and 50, and I think about 50, we go through this. It's not just a midlife crisis, your body, and it's not true that your metabolism really falls all that much after like about 30 or 40. You're pretty much about as fallen with your flesh as you're going to get, but it can get worse through those decades if you're not conscious about taking care of yourself, you know. And then if you do, because about 50 really is hard to, sometimes you're like, damn, I'm just getting tired, you know. So you do kind of have to take a break. If you don't, you might have a crisis, you know, like a physical, like a stroke or this. And if you can't take care of yourself, you can end up having a stroke because of several different, you know, your diet or your environment, different things. But I think midlife, you need a little bit of a break, but then you have to push yourself again. That's what I'm kind of trying to say. You know, take your break, but not too much of a one. And then pace yourself after that. Then when you do things, um, you'll feel your body able to burn anything you eat, you know, you'll be cool. You'll be all right. But yeah, that halfway mark, if we live to 100, those are some rough years, you know, because look what all you were through in your 20s and 30s and 40s, and you're still alive. Geez, you're a walking miracle, aren't you? Half a century old, still kicking it. Wow, that's cool. Uh, I love some old people. I used to, you know, we were raised respect your elders, and in a sense, mm, test everybody's spirit is what I'm telling you, you know. But yeah, yeah, yes and no. Old people could really hurt you, and this is really what this video is about, how that can happen. And maybe that saying in some cultures, maybe that was an intentional thing. Doug asked me this morning if I knew the meaning of the word school backwards, and yes, I did. That it was connected with luge and uh, dark force energy. And I said, you know, you're not telling me anything, but I'm going to tell you something, that the whole English language and the orchestration of Satan has been, it's so elaborate and um, obtuse and um, reversed that it's incredible. It is so deep. It's just it is. I gotta give that thing credit for the adverse ways. I mean, it's just the identical opposition. Lucky God has the upper hand, you know. Like he'd be foolish enough to give any more power to a foolish creature. Yeah. Oh yeah. Anyway. Well, really did a number on my knee the other day. Oh no, when I fell through the floor. Oh, shit. I'm putting some lotion on it. I was hurting. Like, little bit. Ooh, skin's falling off. Hey, that ain't cool. No, this is skin protectant. Excuse me, not to be rude. But yeah. Doug had to go. He got the Mustang stuck out in the field. I don't remember why he was over there, but then had to take the 4x and pull it out and before he comes in and gets water jugs, so there'll be probably a little bit of noise. Plus that phone, some of you know I rarely answer my phone. My kids can get a hold of me on Facebook, and if they write, hey, can I call you? I've had them do that, but yeah. And I might say no, I don't know. But I don't jump for anybody anymore. I mean, I will if there's danger and I can jump and I'm quick. So yeah, I will jump, but I don't jump in general. That might not be good if I have to. That would really piss me off. One time my kid was being a smarty pants with me and I just jumped over the table and I was in front of him. I said, what'd you say to me? He just about peed his pants. It was beautiful. He's like, "Ah," you know, worse than seeing a ghost. This shit's real. He did. He flipped. Another time he ran from me and he jumped across the ditch and I got on across the ditch and I grabbed his shirt and I looked at him. I said, you are the luckiest little. I'm like, get back up to the house. He was, my boy was just like me. No, in some ways, both of them are, but hopefully in all the good ways. I ran from my mom once too, and I did not think that chubby lady could run, but I was little. I mean, not when I got older, she wouldn't catch me, but wow. I looked back, I was running up these two hills in between our grandpa's house and our house, and I looked back and she's just right on me. I'm like, wow. And this is what my mind was thinking. If only she didn't sit around the house like she can run. Jeez. I mean, wow. Anyway, flip me right out. I think she said like come here or something, and I don't know if I might have been jumping off a half wall my grandpa had in between our houses on part of it. Or I know it wasn't the back one had like at least a dozen building block concrete blocks, and I used to climb up there and sit on there and kind of overlook the neighborhood. And well, in our cousin's lawn, my grandpa's lawn, and our back lawn was all connected to like a 40-acre field, and then we had front lawns too. So we had quite a bit of land to do a lot of stuff on around the city. Neighbors had a pool. I mean, I could overlook our little community there. So yeah, kind of a nice neighborhood. Right away, really close to not so nice neighborhoods. So, um, you know, on the edge of the city, Minneapolis, Minnesota. So, some beautiful parks. And a lot of the parks are connected, and it's a park system. And there's like a lake called Lake of the Isles and those islands, and these other 5 lakes within the city well, in one in St. Paul, there used to be a riverboat, and it would go through all these lakes. The chain of lakes in there is what they call them, and they're still connected. One they sort of closed off, but left the spring, left it where it was connected naturally, and all you have to do is walk across the path, and you can use a canoe. I don't think that there's any motors unless it's electric allowed on them anymore. I think I heard something like that. I don't know. So, huh. I hear some noise out there. I think somebody came over. No biggie. But isn't that extraordinarily bad news that there are sick adults that would sexualize humans, little people? Um, ugh, just gives me the creeps. I don't know if some of you, do you ever know or remember of adults looking at you like that and you can feel it and sense it? I don't know if you can acknowledge that or have felt that, but I have, you know? No, no. All I can say is I sure hope God's representation hurries up and makes himself known on this planet, because this enough of this. This is how I'm gonna say it like it is. I cannot prove it. Life on planet Earth from the fallen angels happened because a child was raped. There you go. And that's where we come from. Part Satan, part angel. So, and I can't prove it, but maybe I will find some proof somehow. Maybe it touched your hearts, but there's nobody took a bite of any fucking apple or did anything wrong besides being a beautiful human being like you or I. Don't buy this shit. I don't care. It doesn't take away from Christ's spirit in our heart or God as our Father. It's just that people need to know the truth of the whole thing. And then what? Maybe there were twins, triplets. Who knows? Or maybe actually, and I was thinking to myself, they say how one bloodline led to just everybody else. Well, it's said to be that there was like Adam's first wife. This is not God's wife. This is Adam's first wife and Adam's second wife. Um, Whether or not that's part of the fallen or not, and that kept perpetuating their bloodline, does not mean that God doesn't have his own children that are of Christ's blood that do not perpetuate that interbreeding. And with all the, like, oh, Solomon had so many wives or something. Well, not in reality, Solomon, not in any woman's life that's real or any man's bed. We do not share our spouses. Now, that's the human reaction. I don't know what the Nephilim bloodline wants you to believe, but it's time, and it's why people do not believe in religious orders, because the hypocrisy and the whole thing. And that's what's going on. And there are two different types of people on this planet, ones that carry the demonic bloodline and are just happy doing it, and others that don't and are pointing it out. And we need to gather together and stand up tall. This is our planet. This is not their planet, and they don't belong here. So now I'm not going to say they can go to hell. I'm going to say there's a very special place for you, and you don't belong here with your wanting to boff children. We're not tolerating your that's way too queer for me or anybody else that's real. So that's just the way that is. And if you don't want that all balled up, okay, just a minute. Remember I told you I was going to make a video?
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry.
No problem. Just I told him we might get interrupted. What's up?
Well, I can. I can't get them polished. I got an inch of mud in my shoes. I'll get them out of there.
I can put them on the porch. Okay. Yeah, I'll sweep. Don't worry about it. He don't want to come in. His shoes are all muddy, but he might even take them off. I don't know. Or stomp them off. Who knows? I'll get back to where I was. I think it just was not being able to touch the children. We're not going to tell. Oh, if you don't want it all balled up with the LGB or whatever, you know what I'm saying. And I don't care if you try and transform. A man's not a woman and a woman is not a man. I'm not buying your emotional issues when your soul's in your flesh. So I'm not playing your spiritual game. And when it comes to the kids, don't try and ball yourself in with something that you deem as normal, that people with families don't feel the same way like that. You know? So if you don't want it all balled up into one and you have the same sex partner, you better start speaking up on it too. It's like I shared, I have a small video that was sent to me by Gays Against Groomers. So if you're on board with that you're against grooming children to act like adults and you are against seeing this as acceptable in the world, then you need to speak up on it, and you better speak loudly because this is coming quickly. This was already written in academia probably about a year ago, and I reported on it about probably 6 months or 9 months ago, somewhere around in there for the whole thing. Could be about a half a year for the whole thing. But no, I think it's quite a bit longer, and we are closer to that than we would want to be that time in their agendas. So if you don't want a little person to be hurt by an older person in this world, you better start screaming about it. So I mean, they are anyway, but we certainly don't make it legal. That's criminal. So people want to legalize something that's a crime against a child, and the child can't even protect itself. It's going to be vulnerable to these people that want to do anything to them that they want to. And that's what those Noahide laws are all about, too. Please make the connection and understand who your enemy is. Yeah, pray for their souls, no matter where their souls are going to be going. So Cheers, everybody. I'll try and get off that heavy stuff now and maybe just close this out with a little bit of cheer. But whoa, that's some heavy stuff, you know. We've all been annihilated by all this in one way or another, and it's not nothing to overlook. We need to put an end to it. And the people themselves, us, we're the only ones who can, is to let your local fucking lunatic know that you're putting yourself in danger, not only from God, but actual people that love other people, and we're sick of your bad behavior. Just let them know that locally. That's all we can do. But it's all of us and very few of them. So it's majority rules. So, and they could try cutting off all power in the world. It's still not going to make anything less localized if we see you hurting babies. In fact, it might even be a whole lot worse when it comes to that. My family knows, my granddaughters know that this might be the safest place on the planet if anything horrible went down in every way. So, but I don't believe it's going to go that far because people are speaking up. And I saw a meme on Facebook. It's so true. It's not your imagination that the veil is lifting. It has gotten lighter. Our information, there's more of Christ's Spirit in the ether. We're getting like sun ray downloads all the time into us, you know, a gift from God, like with that knowledge on that level in your heart. And I know people are feeling it. I can feel it. I feel the shift because um it's been a cold, dark world for a very long time, you know. The Christ Spirit in us does not, or God, whoever you believe our Almighty Creator, whether what name, whether you believe that He's a Son in the flesh, that was a in the person, and that's forever God close to us in our hearts. However you can describe a oversoul or your belief of who thought you were beautiful and a part of who is that guy. You know, so it doesn't really matter the name or your belief is what this is my belief. But we know that there's a feeling in our hearts that is getting stronger, and I know it's not my imagination because the world was a darker place in a lot of ways um for a long time, not decades, in my life, all my life right up until I'm going to say that disaster in New York really opened people's eyes as far as loving other human beings. I think a lot of us just went, whoa, what just happened here? This is beyond evil, you know? I really do. I think that was, I mean, I felt like that for a very long time, but I think a lot of people just went, whoa, you know? Some people didn't. Some people actually had no feeling about it at all, and other people pretended to. So yeah, there was all different kinds of reactions with all that. Yeah. I know I posted some things on Facebook they told me wasn't supposed to. It's like, yeah, but it's true. And I said it last year and it didn't go against anything, or 6 years ago or whatever. But now I try and share it and repost it out of my memories that were on there before. And you're telling me that what, I'm malicious or it's ill intent because I love people and I want to share something either from my heart or something out of the news or whatever it may be, and it goes against your what? And you want to charge people for that platform? Right. Here's a funny one. Like, it took me about 5 years to be able to change my email address on Facebook. And then it would mess with me when I go to log in. And I kept trying, and finally I just started using my old one again. And it's like, yeah, whatever. Then all of a sudden one day they're like, you need to change this or something. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, that's cool. When I feel like it, I will. And I think I took my time, you know. Nice to see some sunshine today here. It's been a few rainy, cloudy days, you know. I think we have like some 80-degree weather coming up, which will be nice. Even 70s is nice, but I like 80. Yeah, it's nice. Kind of like Hawaii temperature. That's about to my liking. I haven't been there, but I have watched weather all my life. So, yeah. I don't know if I want to go. My adopted mom went, she bought me this black pearl. It was, I had it stolen from me, but it was the most perfect pearl. She got one, they were twins, and she put hers in a setting because it wasn't as perfect. And she gave me the singular one, and it was beautiful. And whoever jeweled it did a really good job too, because it could have broke when he drilled a hole through it so it would show its perfection of its roundness. And he did it, and the markings that, and he did it just so perfectly. It just really showed it. It was so, whoever ended up with it has a beautiful piece of jewelry. A lot of my stuff, but that's just one. But I don't know. I think she's been there maybe a couple times. I'm not sure. But yeah, they went on, her and her friend went out on some ship and they dove for pearls, and the oyster that they brought back up had the black pearls in it, and those are the most prized. And it had more like purple and pink and kind of white, but it was black and it was about that big around, you know, bigger than a pea, which was pretty good size, and both of them were those twin pearls. So yeah. Anyway, And then I've had friends over there. Actually, my very best friend moved there. Then we lost contact. Her father was an anthropologist with bugs, and so they moved over there. What a better place, right? So, yeah. Anyhow, yeah. So anyway, I used to write her and she'd write me back and we'd talk about the weather and everything else. And because we used to ice skate together and there wasn't much of that over in Hawaii but I would have enjoyed the water. And I don't know, I would have missed skating too. I love to roller skate or ice skate, all that. And skateboard. I'm not good like these people like that. I am on skis or roller skates or ice skates, but yeah, yeah, I wasn't even my one kid could make the skateboard like jump and twist just with his feet, but well, my skateboard when I was a kid wasn't even built like that. And it was made by Radio Flyer. It was red with white letters on it. It was pretty cool, but my brother had a fancy kind of fiberglass one or nylon, I think it was. Yellow with blue wheels. That was pretty cool, but mine was fast. It was wickedly fast. I could jump with it. I'd do little jumps over these pieces of sidewalk that were crooked. If you hit them, you'd die. If you didn't go through them, like trying to miss them, and you didn't want to jump, and I was trying to teach my friends this, um, either you had to jump off and run and then catch your board, or you had to get over it. So I told them, like, take your pick, or just don't do it. You know, going down this one hill. So there was a couple different spots in that one sidewalk, and it's like, well, you got to take your chance. I learned the hard way. So, and then I learned, you know, but I'm not nowhere close like these people wearing their Vans skater shoes and they're out there like riding a rail or no, nah, nah, nah. Roller skates, skis, whatever, maybe. Yeah, I'll be doing some stuff even now. Yeah. I'd flip around backwards and do some dog moves on some short skis if I was skiing right now. I am still athletic enough where I could handle it, or ice skating or roller skating. Pretty sure, you know. But last year after I hurt myself, I was going to go out and snowboard, but I didn't have the right snow boots. Now this year I do, but I injured my arm and I thought, no way. After all my injuries and stuff, am I going out there? Maybe another time and it will be a small hill. I'm not going to be doing our big hill. It's like, maybe after I do a couple small runs or something and just. But I'm not going to go out and try and kill myself right away or even be ignorant of, you know, I'm not infallible. Things break. So, yeah. Even soft snow can become very hard, just like water when you dive from a high height, um, or even feet first. Water is pretty hard when you get it from a distance, you know, so, or mass quantities of it all at once. It can. feel kind of hard. Also, hail's hard. I got caught in some of that one time on my bike, and they were coming down. They were like this, some of them. They were almost knocking me out. I had to put my arms up to shield myself. That was wicked. I didn't get it too bad, but I really did think of crazy thing is, and I know God works in mysterious ways, but because of how I was raised, it made me think of wrongs that I was doing in my life as an adolescent as I'm getting pummeled with this hail. And then it was a free ride down some great big hills. Before I got to some great big hills, I had to walk up to get home. So on the way down the hill, I'm like really thankful. And I was seeing like the sun was starting to set in the west, and I'm walking up my hills to get home. And I'm still praising God because I was a stupid kid. But that's kind of the way um, God works like that. If you can hear Him talking to you, He talks to us all the time. And He's not always so nice about it. That's why I am concerned for people, because I think if I go through these things, you must be going through these things. Do you realize it? I don't know. I'm not saying he's always brutal, because I think he makes us laugh a lot too. But I don't know. just, just, just wondering. I haven't thought about that for a long time, and it's really weird because I had sprayed some of my perfume that I usually don't even use any, or I have two. One's like a rose, and another's called Emerald. It's um, a French perfume. It's pretty nice. It doesn't take much and it lasts forever. It's very old. I don't know if you can even buy it anymore, but I've had it around for decades. And every once in a while, I'll just give it a squirt. And I thought to myself as I was squirting that, I bet this is going to bring back memories of the first time I had ever used it. I was at a woman's house. It was like a cousin of my adopted mom. And she squirted some and asked if I wanted some. And it lasted for so long. And it was the most elegant, just light and floral, just beautiful. I think it smells to me because two of my favorite scents are like jasmine and Hawaiian white ginger. Now, I don't know if it's from the ginger flower in this one that I have, or if that's it, but I suspect that some of the oils they used in it could be jasmine. It could be I think it's jasmine ginger flower, maybe a hint of rose. I'm not sure. It's so nice. So anyway, it kind of did make me reminisce. Funny, I would think about that hail. I could have stopped like at this one nursing home I used to go in, and um, yeah, but I didn't. I just kept going. I was coming home from my church, and I know I was probably maybe I was premeditating not being not so nice. I don't know. I don't know what I had done wrong, or what I was thinking, or why when that was going on, I guess. And I don't even want to. I think I've already repented, and the remorse I have is real for my stupid things. So yeah, I think God's protecting me with some memories, which I do appreciate. I asked if he would. He can help you. He helps me most of the time. unless I really don't realize something or I'm arguing with them, you know. But still, I listen to no man, only God within my heart. And if I hear another human being speaking God's word, I recognize it and I try to listen, but I still don't take it as 100% gospel because I still know what's upon my heart concerning even my instincts with other people, you know. Or even when I talk about out here, it's like I'm going to talk about what it's like to be me. I can't talk for anybody else, but I can lead by example, and hopefully that's a good example and not a bad one. You know, just tell you what's in my heart. Oh, it's been a absolutely strange day in a weird way. It feels sort of surreal. I think because of that perfume. I'll have to remember that next time. Be prepared, you know. Or like Rex Bear says, Leak Project, be prepared, not scared. That's true. But there is more to fear than fear itself. I don't fear fear, but I'm a realist. There's some really regressed humans on this planet that have more the creatureness within themselves, and they don't cause me fear, but I'm very aware that I need to be on guard around them with my energy and all that because that's real, you know. So I don't fear, if anything, I would not be the one in fear. Is what I'm saying. You don't want to put me there. Anyway. Just act like a normal person. Just torture me a little bit at a time so I can't prove it. You know, why don't you act normal instead of trying to scare me with your stupid shit? Just why don't you get it over with? It remind me, I was listening to Rabbi Simon this morning. How did the Bible know this before scientists did? You know, certain things within the scriptures. And because no, Judaism isn't about the four new books, and it even says in the Old Testament that a new book will be written, and the Word of God's written on our hearts, but the new book is not going to have any twists or turns and leave no room for doubt. And even within the New Testaments, the room for doubt has been orchestrated by that Masonic order. And even in Judaism, they're aware of it and they play hand in hand. It's a game. It's a game to them. And it is all coded and they all know about it. You know, I guess it gives those philosophical minds, those theologians, something to talk about, you know. But it's happening all over the world. Jason from Archaics is going to be getting into the Celts, or like the old Irish bloodline that's actually like Phoenician and that type of thing, which is really good for pinpointing a lot of what's going on. And then when nobody's talking about Norway yet, but wait till you get there. Um, then when you make that, well, they'll say Northern Europe and different places where these people traveled, but then, and then it was to China, and a lot of that bloodline is still absolutely there. The very same as the Rothschilds, the same bloodline in different meat suits, the same stuff. And Italy, actually, in particular, Sicily, the very southern part of that boot is a really key ley line on our planet. There's certain places that are really significant for that dark force energy that they use against us, and the sigil magic that's in most towns and all cities throughout the world, the way they're laid out and with their monoliths and sigil magic and the language and the noise, the fumes, everything at plays. There's layers and layers of what happens to humans in all that. The harmonics of it, it's deep, people. What Satan, if that's how we describe that dark force, is the orchestration against you. It's so big. A person can hardly conceive the web if you think about life itself and how God has all this for us, and there's so much more we don't know. Well, there's so much Satan doesn't know either. And that's how we know that even God made Satan. Satan did not make himself. And he knows that, you know. But anyway. That's what the argument is. It's an ego thing. That's why that first woman was raped. It had nothing to do with desire or anything. It had to do with killing God. Total annihilation against you and I. That's all it had to do with. It had nothing to do with anything else. But then, in the long run, it created people that could come back to God even through that dark period that we've all suffered through. And in the end gave God a family and the ability to adopt us into his family, you know, as his very own, as learning how to be that part that we feed that is of him, that tiny spark we were born with, you know. I don't mean to get too preachy with you, but I'm getting older and I know a little bit of things. I hope I can express it in ways that you just get it quick, and then when you hear somebody talking nonsense, you can just don't even let it bother you, you know, that type of feeling. So I'm going to get this uploaded. I love you all. I appreciate you joining me. Have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.